Hello, it's Damian Questiny. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. In previous discussions we've had, we talked a little bit about time, and I was discussing how it's like the filing system of evidence. And we talked about space and how it's like the container of all of the things that matter and have substance and that have compassion, things that we care about. But let's talk about the pendulum in between those two and how you can apply remote viewing techniques to have access to those, to understand that the pendulum swings between time and space, and you as a remote viewer occupy a position within that pendulum. And that position is where you apply friction and action and motion. And you do this through sound. And sound is the key to the data stream of accuracy. And sound is not something that you'll hear from other teachers and how to use sound in your practice. So, a way to extrapolate when you're within the matrix, when you're doing your remote viewing, I would encourage you to separate that friction, that your position and how you're trying to enter into the target, right? Because you're trying to get the target to respond to you in the matrix. And that is a term that is used within the remote viewing protocols, which is a stage in which you extrapolate your senses, where you allow an organized chart to be placed for all your smells and all your tastes. And if there are shapes, or if you feel that it's wet or sticky, you have places to position your impressions and expressions of the target within the matrix of the remote viewing protocols. But what I'd like to suggest is taking that a step further and building a relationship with your target. And this is the type of remote viewing that I am talking about. I'm not talking about consciousness remote viewing. That is one part of it. In fact, let's define that for a second. Let's separate the different types of remote viewers so maybe you can better understand which type you are. Because I think maybe that could help those who want a definition of what remote viewing is. It depends on how you, as a unique individual who has your own thoughts and ideas, your own way in life, your own unique aspect. And this is why I'm on here talking about this, because I want to meet those people. I want to meet those unique individuals who are making their way, not following, but creating. So let's break it down. What type are you? And this will help you define what remote viewing is to you, because this is another reason why there's skepticism regarding this subject. So, I mentioned already the consciousness remote viewer, which is the one that you hear most often out there in the teaching sphere, which consciousness remote viewing is all based on the mind. It's all psychological. It's all mental. It's all in the mind itself. Everything breaks down to that. Then there's the energy remote viewers, and I find that the female remote viewers have this amazing access to the energy, which comes from the gut, and it's feeling oriented. And everything in the world has an energy signature, right? It's different from the consciousness, the psychological, the mental. And then the last one Are you what they call a spirit remote viewer? And these remote viewers, yeah, these ones can be extremely powerful because spirit remote viewers rely on entities and beings and forms, and they collect in these like containers and wrappers, sleeves. And a spirit remote viewer, they can get some interesting detail. So if you have several people who have different aspects in how they access information, how they access time and space, right? You can get a very detailed understanding if you have all these aspects covered. Now there is a fourth type, but I'll leave that as a secret, and that comes from the heart. And those are the mystics, the mystic remote viewers. So there are modes. There's the mind, there's the gut, there's the body, which is the spiritual, or the spirit, actually not the spiritual, but the spirit, the encompassed form itself. And that was the body, and then you have the heart. So if you collect all of these aspects, perhaps your definition and clarity on a target can be more understood. So you access that again through sound, through separating pressure and temperature. Now, when you do that, you will hone in on 3 fundamental aspects to every target. You will hone in on the frequency, the vibration itself. Try and harmonize with that vibration. Try and move your nodes into it so that way it understands you and you understand it. And this is how the relationship is built, through sound. And of course, once you do that, you start to resonate. And that is the point where accuracy starts to become more intense. And your senses start to build more and more. And you smell and you touch and you hear it. You're listening and it's listening to you. Because you have coherence between you and the target. Now, again, great friction is applied here because in remote viewing, people are skeptical because it's like, well, how can you exist in one place but yet experience something that is far away from you? And it could be even far away from you in time. Because if you like I said, if you understand what time is and you understand what space is, then you can actually use those as instruments, as tools to assist you to be applied into what your intention and your will and your desires are. Because this whole system is designed for one purpose: to give you, to manifest and make what we all can agree on that we want. And so the world is a reflection of ourselves. If we want to see the world in this beautiful, gorgeous place, through our intention, through our will, through our desires, we can make that. If we want to communicate with each other in the air through sound waves on little devices that look like they come from Star Trek, and we call it the me phone, and we can do that. We can make that. That can be a reality for us. So, if we can talk to people at a distance through a device that is not connected by anything other than sound, is it possible to also experience something in our lives through the application of work, hard work, and an understanding and a relationship? Could we be and experience two places at once? Similarly to how we talk to somebody. And if we could, what would that look like? How would you do that? Okay. Complexity is how you do that. Hard work is how you do that. Ritual is how you do that. Remote viewing is a ritual. You have to put things in their proper places to keep your mind busy, to keep your body busy, to keep your emotions busy. You have to do that. It's a full package. It's all action. This is why you are exhausted after a session, no matter how good you are. So influence at a distance. Think about it. Is it possible? That's really where the friction is regarding the reality of remote viewing. So if you can accept that, then you should be able to accept the possibility that remote viewing could be real. And if it is real, whoa, what can you do with it? You can do a lot of good, but you can also do a lot of bad. All right. So, who wants to force action with sound resonance at a distance? Who wants to do this? The pendulum. As the pendulum swings, those are the extremes of time and space that you exist within. You are that singularity. You find your position, and you find the position in which you want to learn about, which you want to experience and have a perspective on, whatever that is, whatever that could be. If it's real, you can access it. If it's not real, guess what? You're going to access yourself. So, the pendulum is the range in which you have the ability to understand, the language in which to express and impress and have access with the environment, which is quantifiable and has a quality to it. And this is how you reveal the target. I hope that helps with some clarity on remote viewing and how sound is that great equilibrium between time and space. And you are the singularity of that. And you can use your resonance, vibration, and frequency to tune in to another. And when you do that at a distance, you have the code, the source code, that is basically access granted. Thanks for listening. Cheers.